Good morning. Thank you for clicking to listen to the Self-Love Mystic. Today is Thursday, February 12th. And according to my sacred numerology calculations, we got in the energy today 33, the number 33. We got in the energy this morning, or today, 33. According to my sacred numerology calculations. Okay. I just got back from the gym. I love the fact that I'm able to say that very often. I'm sticking to my commitment of consistency with the gym. And that's the goal I choose to focus on, is consistency versus like outcomes this time around with my gym relationship. With my relationship to the gym, I prefer to focus on the goal of consistency and like setting goals of, okay, I'm going this many times per week. You know, I'm making it by this time in the morning. Like that. So that feels good, even though I did have 2 weeks off recently, back to back, because of it was the snow, and then it was my first week off for my Sacred Sabbatical. So there's something that came to me. Yeah, there it is. Came to me to talk about today. And this could end up being a long recording, but I'm getting to a point to where it's like, I don't care. I'm not trying to be strategic to get numbers. I'm just here to talk. And I came across a video yesterday. I didn't watch it, but it was in my it was in my algorithm or whatever, by a Sacred Goddess. And I used to be annoyed, like, seeing her videos be so long. I think she would be streaming though. I don't know if she'd be recording or streaming, whatever. Like, a lot of her stuff is at least like 2 hours, 3 hours long. And I would be like, what the hell? But, I don't know what her sign is, but I am a talker. Like, when I'm tapped in and I have something I'm passionate about, I could talk about it for a very long time, Or if I'm channeling and tapped in, I can go for a very long time. And there's not a whole lot that I like to do in life. It really ain't. Like, I like being at home. I like resting. I like being in peace and quiet and undisturbed. And so when it comes to like great conversation or talking about something I'm interested in, I'm like naturally willing to give a lot of energy to that. Could be the Aquarius in me. But also, something just came to me, like hermit energy, which I've been in, and which I think I'm realizing more and more is the goal of spiritual development. Because I think the mystic would be the hermit, and I think of Dumbledore from Harry Potter. He's like my example, and like the person just kind of stays to themselves, but they're wise as hell. They're the person who, when you need direction or guidance, like the oracle, like the oracle type energy. So what was I even saying? I don't know, getting off track, but so let me get back on track. Sorry. So there is something, that's what I was saying. This might be a long video or long audio, and I'm okay with that. That's basically what I was trying to say. Okay, so today I'm being led and intuitively guided to speak on the concept of information and getting information, sharing information. When I was at the gym, something that was coming to me was the concept of channels. So, like, say, watching TV, flipping through the channel. I had a question come up in my mind I never really asked before. Like say when we're watching TV, okay, and there's, so you're watching a channel, but a channel is a vessel of information, right? It's so like when people are channeling, they're tapping in to get information through them, and then into them, and then outwards, or just into them. So, or like on the radio, the channel, yeah. So I was just thinking, it came to me like when we're watching TV and you're watching the channel, it's like whose channel is that? Like who put that channel together? Who decides what comes through that channel? Because it's a channel that's conveying information to the world, right? Or whomever gets access to that channel. And I thought like about like directors and producers and like media powers that be. It's like whose channel is that? Like what source is this channel serving? Like where is this information originating from? Right? Because something I was thinking about the other day too is that like when I be at the gym, that's the only time I really be coming across like actual TV these days, like TV with commercials and stuff. So many commercials on medication. Most of it is medication. It's something about affecting the human body. Okay. It's not advertisement for like just other things that I'm interested in. You don't get those advertisements on TV, right? Like natural, holistic, things where somebody, if they're advertising about it, they're probably not going to make any money. But so they're not going to make any money, so they're not advertising it. They're not investing in that. And I was thinking about that too the other day, and with myself. Like I remember somebody asking me about this, the idea that I was kind of talking about of having like a spot, like a social spot that is conducive to just good energy, like just cultivating good energy amongst people. Art, people performing art, people showing off their art, people just hanging out, like a center, like Boys and Girls Club maybe. I can't really speak that deep on Boys and Girls Club because I never was allowed to really go, but when I was younger. But I remember I had a best friend who was going, and I think it was just like hangout spot, maybe they had some programming, but I think of like wanting to have something like that, so that it's kind of like a restaurant, but it's more of a sacred space. And the purpose is not to generate money, but it's like a nonprofit situation. And I remember somebody asking me about that, and then I told them like that's what I would want. I would want it to be something that I could do where I don't have to generate money. It's a service I provide for the community. It's like a place that I would treat like my own home, but it ain't my home, right? It's not where I sleep and lay my head. It's not my private space. It's a public space that I treat like my own home, but it's for the public. or members, like a club type of thing, but it's for just goodness of spirit and soul through art and beauty and safety and peace, laughter, just good stuff, just good stuff, real God stuff. So, um, why did I start talking about that? Damn, my brain. I think because I keep getting off track. Let me back up a little bit. Jeesh. So I was saying somebody was asking me about that. And I was talking to them about that. Okay. Yes, I was thinking about that the other day. Because that conversation happened long ago, like a couple of years ago. So I was thinking about that conversation and that idea the other day. And I was thinking how that's kind of still how I am. Like, I'm still wanting to like provide stuff, good messages to people, humans, society, the world, and it doesn't have to be connected to making money, like philanthropy in a way, you know. So like I kind of wish I was rich so I could like do that kind of stuff. And I was just thinking about that the other day. So now that attaches to what I was talking about in terms of these commercials and advertisements I be seeing while at the gym, and everything's attached to money, but it's at the sacrifice of the human body and the human mind, because everything is fucking medication. Everything is basically medication. Even when it's food on the screen advertising fast food, that to me counts. It counts. So I kept coming across that. So it's this thing of information. And when I think of the word information today, I just saw 12:12 on the timer. When I think of information today, I think of Beyonce because I think of her song Formation. But the way I think of it when I hear her song, because the way I hear her song is the lyrics, I hear it like this. Okay, ladies, now let's get information. I think of it as not information as two separate words. I think of it as one word. Okay, ladies, now let's get information. And so I feel like, and because the other thing that's coming to me is this scripture from the Gospel of Thomas. It's a Gnostic book, my favorite. Let me look it up. Jesus was talking. Gospel of Thomas. It's like the last scripture or something. It's 114. Okay, so it's not 441. But it's 114. And it says, let me see. I want to get the clear. Okay. "12 pages. Ain't that ironic?" 114 is the last scripture. It says, Simon Peter said to him, "Let Mary leave us." Talking about Mary Magdalene. "Let Mary leave us, for women are not worthy of life." And I read somewhere else where it said worthy of the life. Jesus said, "I myself shall lead her in order to make her male, so that she too may become a living spirit, resembling you males. For every woman who will make herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven." Okay. So this scripture fucking stays with me, okay? Because if people know better, if they read that, they know better than to take that literal, right? You can take it as literal, but if you're taking it as literal, you better know that that's the most basic layer, the most surface, superficial layer of the meaning. It's like Jesus, the sayings of Jesus are icebergs. You know what I mean? So if you're taking it literal, you're literally only looking at the visible point. And if you know icebergs, you know there's so much more to an iceberg than what you see above the surface of the water. So I don't take it literally. I know better than that. So when he says, I will make women male. I will make her male, right? So, okay, and what's crazy is my eyes kept on going back to the scripture before that, where it says, his disciples said to him, when will the kingdom come? Jesus said, it will not come by waiting for it. It will not be a matter of saying, here it is or there it is. Rather, the kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, and men do not see it. So for me, I feel like when he said men do not see it, it's so funny because I just said about taking things literal, right? I believe and feel that there is a possibility that he means that word men literally, not men humans. Humans don't see it. I think he was, because the fact that that comes before the other scripture that I just read, it's like he's calling out men right there, you know, and even before that, because Jesus said, woe to the flesh that depends on the soul, woe to the soul that depends on the flesh. So basically attaching your spirit to your gender, your spirit to your race, your physical to your spiritual. Like, you're basically saying, this is how I'm interpreting it, you're basically saying, teaching, believing that spirituality is about your physical self in any way, take, shape, or form. So almost basically saying, oh, like what Simon Peter literally just said, women don't, and that goes to show he wasn't listening. Because it's that, again, that 114 where Simon Peter spoke is after where Jesus said, woe to the flesh that depends on. So Simon Peter is literally illustrating how he feels like spirit depends, or the soul depends on the flesh. Because he said women who, what makes them different from a man? It's their flesh, it's their gender, it's their physical. He said women are not worthy of the life. So their soul, their spirit does depend on their flesh, and it makes them not better than us, or it makes them not equal to us. And Jesus just warned his ass and said, woe to you. So the fact that there was that one scripture, that was 1:12, 1:13 says, 1:13 says, when he says, men do not see it. The kingdom is already here and men do not see it. And I feel like that final scripture was illustrating all that put together by Simon Peter's stupid ass statement saying, send Mary away. She's not worthy, the women are not worthy of the life. And I feel like Jesus barked back, basically saying the same shit that he just said. And I feel like what he really wanted to say was, Simon Peter, you are a man and the kingdom is already here and you don't see it. And what you just said is the reason why. And why is that? Now, this is another step. Ooh, I'm channeling, because even Beyonce was talking to ladies. She wasn't talking to no men. I'm on it. That was my confirmation right there. Beyonce was talking to women. She said, okay, ladies, now let's get information. Okay, so I feel like that just aligned with what I was saying about Jesus letting his disciples know the kingdom is already here. Men don't see it. He said men, not women, not humans. He said men in the presence of a woman, because the woman, Mary, was there amongst his disciples. She was one of his disciples. And the fact that he's already talking about flesh and gender, and the fact that it ends with Simon Peter singling out this woman, I believe when he says men, and I believe there are many more points in the Bible, if not all, when it says man and men, they are talking about the males. They're not talking about humanity like the church and pastors have led us to believe. That is one theory and interpretation that I have, and I think I started to kind of question that and think about that maybe a few years back. And this is why. Because men and women are not the same. We are not the same. And I just recently turned 36. And the longer I live, the more I learn, right? And the more aware I become, the more awake I become. And I'm learning this better than ever before. And I'll be reflecting all the time. And I think about my life so far. And I don't take what I've learned and been through for granted. I've been through some, I think, unique situations. And also, usually I find online the other mindsets of women, like similar mindsets of women who, have that kind of thinking too. Like there are women online I've come across, they're not even lesbian. They just know male nature, and they're like, men are not to be trusted. I saw something yesterday. A man can't love you. They can't love you. And I'm like, God damn, I never really thought of it that way. But my life, I think, has been a story to tell me, to teach me and show me why I need to wake up about my perspective of men. Because I've always handed out, like, the way I've perceived men and males. I basically look at them through the eyes of, well, I'm interpreting, perceiving humanity. And I know there's some women out here who effed up too, but, my timer says 6:39. Here's my thing, bro. I don't know. I think that, okay, I gotta keep this simple because this is getting pretty complex. I do think there is room to question what Jesus is referring to when he says men do not see it. The kingdom is already here, but men don't see it. So it's like he's calling out patriarchy. But I have someone, he ain't really in my life right now, but in a way, we ain't doing nothing. But this is somebody who be on my mind because it was the last person that I connected with on that level, intimate. And it's literally like he can't see the truth. It's literally like he can't hear me. It's literally like he shuts himself off from receiving any information from me if it's not to his benefit, because he thinks like Simon Peter does. Women are not worthy of the life. That's that red pill shit. Is it not? Women need to just sit down, sit back, shut up, get on your back, do what I say. It's my way. You don't. And these men can't even lead a horse to water. Right? Can't even. Like, I don't meet many men who are self-sufficient, self-reliant. I don't know. It's such a complex and sensitive subject that I keep on feeling like I could easily go off track, and something keeps pulling me back to the meat, the juice. So yeah, it's like men can't see it, because why would a man not be able to see something that is it's right there in front of them? Because they don't listen, because they're not open-minded, because they don't believe it can come from that direction. Literally what Simon Peter illustrated 2 scriptures later, where he says women are not worthy of life. They're literally the womb. of life. What the fuck are you talking about? They literally possess the womb. Could the womb not be? Could the womb be the kingdom that Jesus is referring to? Okay. Now, and here's the thing. Beyonce says, ladies, let's get information. And you know what I just came up in my head right now? There was a while back, I had a dream. It was almost like a nightmare. And I promise I'm not making this up. I've been an admirer of Diddy in the past to an extent, but not full on, because he never um I never perceived him as like an artist. But you know what I did perceive him as? I perceived him as somebody who made other artists like flourish. He was the producer, right? He was like the producer of producers, you know. I think I had this dream in reference to him because, and this was even before stuff started coming out about him. Um, this was before the Cassie trial, the trials, and all. This was before all that. But it was after I had met this guy who I dated for some time, and he resembled Diddy. And I'm not kidding. I remember one time we went out to eat, and somebody literally like stopped us and told him like he resembled Diddy, like he looked like he could be related to Diddy. So, he did. I mean, he wasn't like he was short. He was, and we dated. It was so funny because I was taller than him, but I was very, very attracted to him, and everything happens in my life for a reason. And so we had a very intense connection and bond. But usually, I've been bonded to guys who are actually like internally very insecure and damaged, or they really don't think that highly of themselves. And then for whatever reason, I genuinely find them attractive. And he was one of them. And like it's so funny because then I had to think back on our connection with each other, which lasted over a year. A little bit over a year, even though we didn't date the whole time, but our connection lasted over that amount of time. And I just remember reflecting on, like, because I met him at work, and so we worked together. I remember reflecting on how he appeared, his appearance. When I first, like, saw him and, like, started interacting with him, he was somebody who would often, like, hide his face a little bit. His hat, he would always wear a hat, and his hat would come down, a little bit over his face. His hair wasn't really usually kept up too much. He was a little rugged, but I liked rugged. That was a part of it. That was a part of my attraction to him. And then he was a little bold because he would like to talk to me and stuff. Hey, how you doing? How your day going? Whatever, whatever. And then I learned that he was an Aquarius like me, so I think that was a part of the energy. But also I think it was a calling on my soul and my spirit. So eventually I started talking back, like for real, because at first I was like guarded, and then I started talking back because he actually reminded me of somebody else that I knew and met before him. Not Diddy though. I didn't think of Diddy, but then later on it was like, damn, like he sure do kind of look like Diddy for real. Okay, so obviously me and that person did not work out. He ended up, him in my life led me to, not just him, but he was a part of what led me to getting to a point of just, from suicidal thoughts to broke to credit score deplete, going down. So then feeling stuck with where I was living because my credit score wasn't good enough to get a better place. What else? He was benefiting off of my energy for real. So when I talk about his appearance, y'all, he went from looking so rugged and stuff. Sometimes his lips would be like just ashy, whatever. You kind of tell he wasn't very big on his image, even though he was handsome. But he he started to glow. I'm not lying to y'all. Like, I was doing his hair sometimes. Um, Even though he had an ex who was his braider, apparently, and then it was crazy because he was trying to keep that from me that she was still braiding his hair while we together, and I'm like, you got me fucked up. You got me all the way fucked up, right? So, but I just remember seeing him, and I would see him closely. Like, it's not hard for me to see somebody's beauty at all. I feel like my eyes are primed to look for beauty. Okay. And I saw his beauty. He had the most beautiful fucking eyelashes. Oh my gosh. He really did. Like, his eyelashes are naturally thick and they contrasted. And I told him all of this. I've literally like laid looking into his face and into his eyes, telling him what I see. You know, his his eyelashes really contrasted with his eyes. So, and then his eyes were very beautiful. He had like almond shaped eyes, and they like brown. And so his like darker skin tone, dark eyelashes, like they contrasted so well with his eyes. And then like I really liked his eyebrows, them too. They were thick and black. So he had like these very jet black features. So even his hair, like a lot of people's hair is not jet black. Like people's hair be like very dark brown. Like even my hair. His hair was black. It was black. And a dark black. And so and he had hair, first of all. So when his like sometimes when his hair would be all messy, I loved the look. And then he had like a mustache. I loved Oh yeah, he had a beard too. He would grow out sometimes. I loved his look because it would be like this fucking like. I look at him and I think like mocha chocolate, and his skin was really nice. He had really nice skin. I love the texture of his hair. Like literally, I'm an admirer of beauty, bro. Like for real, for real. So his mustache, like his hair, like the single strands of hair around his mouth, his lips, like he had a beautiful face, okay? To me, he had a beautiful face. But I can easily see how he could be led to feel insecure because a lot of women out here, they go for the average beauty, like the typical, it's like hard. It can be hard for people to see someone's beauty who is unconventionally beautiful. Not me. Not me. It's the unconventional that really catches my attention, actually. You know. So I used to just admire him, and he had the perfect nose. I'm not even kidding, bro. He had just the perfect nose. But here's the thing. At first glance, the way he would like present himself, you wouldn't really see his beauty. Like he could hide it. Like I said, he would have the hat on, and so the shadow from the hat kind of covering some of his face. Hair not really done. So he ain't really trying to catch nobody by the way he looked. And put it, he ain't really worried about his appearance and like that. I remember sometime after we started dealing with each other, I remember him walking in to work, and I was already there. And we had a moment, like a sexual moment, like the night before or sometime before, a little bit before that. This man walked into work glowing. I swear I saw him glowing. And it was more on display. Like what I typically saw from him up close, when I'm looking at him, just me and him, it looked like it was more on display, like it was more visible. Like if somebody else now looked his direction, now they're seeing what I always saw. It was more, his hair was done. I think he was standing up straight a little bit more. Like he was a shorter guy, but I would tell him like, you're really not as short as you be appearing to be because you slouch. Like you need to, put your back up straight. Like you be slouching, you know. And like you're really not that short, or at least I was like, you're not that shorter than me. If you stand up straight, you actually not. Like you stand up straight, like we could look eye to eye, if I'm standing up straight with no shoes on. you know. So so yeah. So anyways, and then also I loved his shoulders. He had very broad shoulders. I love shoulders and back, like that upper back situation with guys. Some guys be having, cause not all of them do. Ooh, I hate it when they don't. Like if I'm with somebody and I hug them and they don't have that broad shoulder situation, I don't. Anyways, he had that, right? He had like very broad shoulders, and I think that's an Aquarius thing because I have broad shoulders too. So, anyways, yeah, there was a lot of him for me that I was attracted to. So we lasted a good while. We went back and forth some, on and off. We had moments where we was just friends, but then like lust was real, especially on his end. Like, but sometimes on mine too, where I was like, literally in tears, like I can't be just your friend. Like this is getting on my nerves, this is frustrating. So, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, so okay, so then I feel like I started to separate myself from him, obviously, because things wasn't going right. Like I said, money, energy, mental health, um, yeah, downward, going down. And he was like a spoiled brat, and I think I naturally spoil people, friends, whatever. It don't even matter. And so I pulled back a lot from having friendships and relationships because I'm a nurturer. I'm a nurture our relationship. I'm a nurture our connection. I'm a give. I'm a pour into you. And so I had to pull back because he naturally just made me want to give to him for real. So, I think I remember just, him. I felt like he was kind of going back to the way he was when I first met him in terms of like not having his beauty so accentuated as it became while I was with him. I saw it, you know. Now I'm gonna have to think like, why did I start talking about him? I hate that this keeps on happening. So I was talking about Jesus. Definitely not relating him to Jesus. Kingdom, men. Fuck. There's a reason I hate. Goodness gracious, because I just get to talking. Okay, it has to be something in relation to what I was just talking about in regards to like the kingdom residing perhaps within women. But I was talking about his beauty. I think there was something else that I was going to talk about in regards to that relationship. It might come back to me. Goodness, I hate when this happens. ADHD. Okay. I'm going to go back to looking at my scriptures. It might come to me. Because I was talking. Oh, Diddy. There it is. Okay, Diddy. Yes. So glad I got back to that because this is very important. So I was describing this guy, my ex. The ultimate point for me even bringing him up was that he looked like Diddy, and I was dating him when I had this dream. But when I had the dream, I didn't relate it to him. But here's the thing, he looks like Diddy. Okay, so now we got the Diddy situation that has occurred because I dated that guy. That was 2022. Summer 2022, April, Mayish, May, June-ish, I think. 2022 is when I met him and started connecting with him and stopped dealing with him. It was about April 2023. Okay, so during that time span, I had this dream that Diddy was in my face, yelling in my face for me to shut up. Yelling in my face, shut up. right? Now, I had never gotten any other information about him being like physically abusive. And I do remember watching Making of the Band, and I remember his personality kind of coming out there. But I also remember watching him work with Keisha Cole and how he could be like ruthless in his mannerisms of coaching and all that stuff. But I remember also low key being like, well, she needed that kind of to an extent. But I also then remember not liking when he was driving off and he was like, thank you for being on my song. And it was like he had to accentuate that it was his song, but that song wouldn't have been nothing without her on the song. But I get it, like he made the song and brought her in to help him make it what it was. Okay, so but I didn't think about that man very often. Like, but here's where I'm getting at. I think that with him even going through what he's going through with the trials and all that stuff and everything coming out to the public regarding him and his ugly truths, the problem is his energy as the man that he is not unique. It ain't unique. I've literally, the last person in my life in a sexual manner, in an intimate manner, I remember for a span of time, like right now we're not connected. For a span of time before I had reconnected with him the last time I did, that's when the Diddy stuff was coming out. And I remember listening to like everything through, I would watch Tisa Tales, and she would be giving the information that she was picking up from the courts when she would be up in the courtroom. And the person that kept coming to mind in relation to that man, well, more than one, but for me personally, it was the guy that I had been dealing with more so that I had met. I met him in 2024. Okay, 2024, and instantly attracted to him. Another guy who's, I don't even know, like, yeah, unconventionally attractive, but I think in my mind, I'm thinking other women will find him attractive. Like, he's not ugly. He's a little bigger in size, but to me, that ain't never been an issue when it came to men. Like, and even on many women, it looks good, you know? And so, but I ain't never discriminated against a man just because of, like, his size. And for him, to me, I'm like, boy, you don't even know. Like, you my type, for real. Like, tall, like, he ain't even like really fat. He has a stomach, but I don't know. I'm just attracted, right? I'm attracted. I want to get to know him, right? So this was somebody else that we had this thing sexually because we did start getting to know each other. He ain't never became my boyfriend, but so we had a situation that I think I'm low-key still healing from. But again, everything happens in my life for a reason. So we had this thing, though, where, and this is something that is about me sexually, I like to be submissive. Like in a dominant, submissive relationship, I like to be sub. Like, I know it's for real, it's a thing. I couldn't really be long term with somebody else who also likes to be submissive. It's a turn off for me. Like, sexually, that's something that matters to me. So so he was somebody who likes to be dominant. At least that's what he was presenting to me, and so it worked. It worked. Okay. But there was one time where it was just kind of like, it seemed to be something else. Like, he seemed to be moving off of some other kind of energy that I was not in alignment with. And it was a little scary, but it was a little scary, but I wasn't scared, right? I wasn't scared, but it was like he was in this energy. I don't know if he was trying to scare me or something, but that's kind of how he was moving, and it seemed different, right? Now that I know a little bit more about him, I think I know a little bit more about him than he knows that I know, or he thinks I know. It could have been some type of influence, substance influence. I know he drank, he would smoke, I don't know if he did pills of some kind of sort. He kind of act like he does. So I don't know. But there was a day where it was a little bit like, I ain't like it. Like when I got home, I was sitting in my bed and I was like, I'm okay. I'm okay, right? I'm okay. Like I was a little messed up because I was like, that was different. Because it just seemed like he was trying to hurt me. Like he was trying to hurt my feelings. You know, from talking about possibly moving away, knowing that I liked him, and I had reached a point in life where if I like you and I'm spending time with you, I'm not just, this ain't no just, I'm trying to just have fun. Like I'm past that. I'm looking for the person that is my person, you know. So I'm on that level. And it seemed like we had conversations in regards to that, you know, and he would act like he just hadn't met that person yet, you know. But that if he did, you know, he want to get married and whatever, whatever. And I would listen, you know, so, and wouldn't push back. But I'm also telling him my truth. He would tell me his truth, I would tell him my truth. But I think he wanted it to be a thing, like with the whole dominance of thing. He wanted that to be all the time, in every way possible. He wanted to dominate me, I think. He wanted me to let him dominate me. But for me, it's a sexual thing, right? It's like this is a turn on for sexual matters. Everything in life ain't sexual though, bro. We are mental beings, we are emotional beings, we are physical beings, we are spiritual beings, we are sexual beings. Sexuality is not in every part. Now, as I say that, I realize a lot of people could beg to differ because commercials, going back to commercials, sex sales, music, sex sales, all kind of stuff. For me, that's not how I move. If I'm at work, nigga, we ain't talk, but even at work, sex becomes a topic because of how men act. Nasty men will act with their female colleagues, bosses, to their direct reports who are females or whatever, you know. And that's just speaking heterosexuality, right? Heterosexual wise. So, anyways, I just remember, like, I just felt like he was really trying to hurt my feelings. I felt like it was almost like, if I put a metaphor to it, he was trying to squeeze emotion out of me because I hadn't really been giving him that, because we hadn't been able to connect emotionally, because this man was a fucking rock, or trying to act like a rock. But it was almost like something inside of me was telling me, like, he's not a rock. Like, it was like I was picking up on something. And also with his stories that he told me little bits and pieces of, like, he ain't always been savage. He got his heart broken and women having babies on him, you know, outside of their relationship with friends type shit. So I'm like, well, damn, right? I get it, you know? But, so I kind of feel like it, honestly, I think of 50 Shades of Grey, which was a story that I fell in love with as a woman who actually does like to be submissive, but also I'm an independent woman more so in my life. Like, I don't walk around being dependent on nobody, but when it comes to the sexual part of life, if I'm with somebody, man, the domination turns me on. But it's sexual. It's for enjoyment. Unless we're trying to have a baby. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not every part of my life. It's one leg of life. So, but I feel like with that story, 50 Shades of Grey, Anastasia, and Christian Grey, Christian Grey, the thing about his BDSM, the motive behind it, the root to it, the thread of it all was his abuse that he endured as a child, and his purpose was to punish his mother in his head, right? That was the thing. So I honestly feel like that was a part of this dude who I was dealing with. I honestly feel like that was a part of why he would be acting the way he was acting, because he got hurt real bad. Even when he would be in that mode, I could see the pain behind his eyes. I would look him direct in the eyes. I could see the pain. It's like he's acting from pain. This is something about this that is soothing his pain. It's like a get back to somebody, but I'm not that somebody. And when you think back to the Christian Grey story, Anastasia was not that somebody. All the other girls was not that somebody. It was his mama. It was his mama that he wanted to feel the pain, you know? So I feel like I got in, like that was us for a bit. Cause outside of that, he wouldn't be like that, you know what I mean? But it was, he would be acting like that with me a little bit too much. Like sometimes he try to act like that through the conversations and text messages when I'm trying to just have a fucking regular conversation. Like, kill all that shit, bro. Like, it's time to talk for real. Like, that's sexual. Right now, I'm not trying to be turned on by you. It's not about to work. We need to have a real conversation that is non-sexual. Everything is not sexual. I don't care. You know? So, after a while, it kind of became like almost like that was impossible. And so that shit turned me all the way the fuck off. Because, no. I don't know what you got to deal with. I don't know what you're dealing with. But you are getting on my fucking nerves. Everything is not sexual. You want to turn everything to sexual. If we have an argument, you want to, oh, we have an argument because literally told me one time, I said, I don't like to have to talk to you like that. Like, we going off on each other. Like, well, I like it because then I'ma just fuck you or something like that. You know, sex. Like, nigga, grow the fuck up. Go heal your sacral chakra. That's what you need to do. So, anyways, I just remember there was a time where we were not talking, and I had cut him off. I blocked him. He hung up on me. I blocked him. Bitch, you hang up on me. That's it. Okay. After an argument where you're not even listening to me. So I just remember while we were apart, that's when the Diddy stuff started coming out. And the Diddy stuff started coming out. I'm thinking of him. I'm like, whoa, because Diddy's got his own traumas, right? Which is crazy because it was also related to his mama. Okay, started with his relationship with his mama. Okay, so I just remember thinking of that guy. So here it is, two guys now, and that I dealt with that have connection to Diddy. So my ex, who I was obsessed with his beauty, and he was an Aquarius like me. He looked like Diddy. We would do the dom sub thing just a little bit, not a whole lot. We were more mutual, and I don't know. I don't need to go too deep in there, but then the other guy, which was the last guy, he is who I was reminded of when I'm looking at the stuff regarding Diddy as it comes out, right? So here's the thing, and I'm also reminded of others. Unfortunately, I'm reminded of I refer to him in description as like my main predator that I had as a child on my body in my space, which was my adoptive brother. I think of him. He was an abusive man. He sexually abused me when I was 4 years old, 4 or 5, well, starting at 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and he's an older, at least by 10 years older than me, sibling or whatever. Like, he did things to me I still remember to this day. There was another guy who literally was like his doppelganger, but he was my adoptive mom's friend's son. So my adopted mom's friend, who I looked at like as an aunt almost, her son. He was, I think, the same age as my adopted mom's son. They almost even looked alike. Same skin tone, height, all that. Like they were in the same, they were they were peers. He also violated me. Other men violated me. Threats, of, you tell anybody or you do, my godfather violated me. He just recently passed away. I'm sure he's getting his judgment because I know I wasn't the only one. He violated me. No judgment while he was living, besides losing contact with me eventually. Lots of men just violating, nasty. Okay, so when I think of Diddy, the whole situation happening with Diddy, I think of it as an example of what needs to happen with men in general. They need to be exposed. They need to be called out. And not just men, but I'd say the perpetuators of patriarchy. Okay, the perpetuators of toxic patriarchy, which I think patriarchy is toxic in itself. So it's this, I just thought of the movement, No Kings, No More Kings, right? So, and not to say all men are like that, but the very, very well majority, I don't care. I am a heart-led woman who's lived now for 36 years. What I've gone through with males, from brothers, cousins, neighbors, boyfriends, friends, father figures, uncles, I don't care. One person I've been able to single out as somebody who's not tried to violate me while also being in close proximity to me. But you know what else? He ain't a protector. He ain't been no protector of women at all. His younger siblings, cousins, no, perpetuator. And so there are women as well who have been part of that system. They're typically the mothers who birthed these sons, who's raised these boys, these men, to be the way they are. Diddy's mama. Right? So here's the thing. So when I have that dream and they said he's in my face yelling, "Shut up." What's crazy is I've had men in my face before like that, trying to tell me, you know. So I remember 4 years old, my uncle, it was a blow up at their house. I was at my uncle aunt's house. My mom was there. That was the day I was taken from my family to go into foster care. And I remember crying on the couch. I'm 4 years old, crying on the couch, or the recliner, big green velvet recliner, because it's chaos. It's absolute chaos. Like, folks went to jail that night. My mom, there was blood. I remember seeing blood. There's something about a knife, people fighting. Like, it was chaos. Absolute chaos. Abuse. My little sister being abused by my uncle. You know, just absolute violence and chaos. And my uncle, I'm sitting in the recliner crying. And I don't even remember crying. I just remembered the fact that he called me out for crying and was yelling in my face, "Why are you crying? Stop that crying," or whatever. Like, and not comforting, basically telling me to shut up. I remember being 12 years old, and the last time my adopted brother came for me in a sexually violating way, and he almost did, because I was asleep. And when I woke up, he was in my face, right in my face, and threatened, "Well, if you fall asleep here again, you already know what's gonna happen." Threatened me. You already know what's gonna happen. Like I'm some punk, which I was not. I have fought that boy before, and he was a grown man. And I remember that day I was in the 6th grade, so I had already fought him before that day, and he's a grown man. You know, so my ego. He hit my ego with that one. Like, excuse me? Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Just because you've gotten away with violating me in the past, like, now, I'm sorry, because I didn't have multiple fights. And my ego growing. It's like, oh, you try it. I decided and prayed that day. The next man put his hands on me in that kind of way, I'ma kill him. Literally. And I think spirit and the whole universe believed me. And after that, that didn't happen like that no more. Anytime some man had to violate me in a sexual manner after that, it was because I was being naive and was like putting myself in a situation, partying, alcohol, out of it, blacked out type shit, you know. But like mentally controlling me to where, oh, you know what's gonna happen. Like, that wasn't happening no more, So Anyways, I think of this now. The problem is, telling all these stories. The thing is, because I wonder, why did I have that dream about Diddy yelling in my face for me to shut up? And it wasn't my ex, because even though he resembled him, he, there's resemblance and that's you. He wasn't him. It was Diddy in my dream yelling at me to shut up. So then we go into, well, what does he represent? What does he represent? And then what do I represent? Right? What do somebody like me and other women who are like me? Right? What are we talking about to where he's saying, shut up? Right? I'm somebody that's been victimized. I'm somebody that's been violated, used, siphoned from sexually. Um, So it was just kind of like I had to think back on that dream about that. Now, okay, why did I have the dream? Or why did I even bring up talking about that dream? There's a reason for it. Because going back into even Jesus, okay, because I know I was singling out men. Okay, so I think that's something where Diddy, the whole thing going on with Diddy, he is synonymous. I'm gonna just say this for simplicity. Synonymous to men in this world, because now you got the Epstein shit and all the men that ain't black, by the way, and I don't know, maybe there's men in there who are black too. All the men who ain't black, that's a part of that Epstein shit. How about the fact that under the rulership of patriarchy, you have these systems set up? They're talking about Epstein. When it comes to this children stuff, first of all, look at the foster care system and departments of children and family welfare. How about that? Look at the courts. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, it's systems. It's not just people, persons, individuals. It's systems. I remember attending a training for people who worked with youth, because I did. And they were given a training on, and this was by DCFS, some people that work for DCFS. They were providing a training on sexual trafficking, and like how to help youth who have been sexually trafficked or might be still being sexually trafficked, how to look for the clues, how to notice which clues there are that lets you know that somebody's being sexually trafficked, and like the psychology and like all this stuff, and like resources and how to help them without like running them off and stuff like that. But I remember sitting in that room and something came over me that said, these people are behind this. I don't care. These people are behind this shit. DCFS, child welfare system, behind it. I don't care. And they will have their judgment day as well, because it ain't just no person. They attaching all this shit going on to a man's name. One man's name. No. He's just the face of that they're pointing out for a system. There's a system that birthed that man, and that birthed that situation, and that kept that situation going on. Okay, who the hell gave that man a fucking island to have? You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, that's why I don't get wrapped up in these conversations, because people talking about exactly what they want you to talk about. The Epstein files. What? No. This is, in the whole Diddy thing. Systems, hello, music industry. This ain't just that man. Industry, systems, structures that this stuff goes on within. You know what I mean? So now interpreting that dream, right? When he's in my face telling me to shut up, I see that as this is the society of men. This is the society of men. And the concept of secret comes to mind. Secret society of men. Um, of how about the psyche of men, right? The secret society of the psyche of men telling me to shut up because, first of all, the way abuse gets perpetuated is by being silent. And the last conversation I had with that guy who I said I thought of him during our break, our period of separation, when the Diddy stuff started coming out, the last conversation we had is when I was starting to let everything out because I realized this nigga has been lying to my face about some other shit to where it's like, you haven't even been my friend. You haven't been a friend. I don't know what kind of relationship you trying to build with me because you haven't been a friend. Even though you want to act like you're something beneficial in my life, you know, and we're not boyfriend, girlfriend. So what else are you trying to be if more than coworkers? Whatever that is, for me, it would have to start with friendship. And you haven't even been being a friend. Because stuff was coming up, and basically I started to ask questions, about something that was bothering me. And he wanted to shut it all down, so we in a yelling match, going back and forth, da 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 da. And he's trying to have me get back to just, get quiet. No, I'm not a quiet person. I might be quiet when I'm focused on something. I'm minding my business, da 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 da. But when it comes to something that I need resolved, something that's wrong, there's a situation, nigga, you got me fucked up. I'm not quiet. I'm not quiet when it comes. I've never been that way. Like, I grew up being told you got too many opinions by my godfather because if I don't have to shut up and I don't feel like I need to, and something's not done, getting resolved, I'm not shutting up. What the fuck? Like, no. So, I feel like I have learned throughout life working, dealing with narcissists, uh, even my adoptive mother included, silence is what, for me, in my experience, has allowed that stuff to fester, right? When you start to talk back, talk to others, oh yeah, that shit starts to die down. I even had that experience with my boss, who, from what information I have now, soon to not be any longer. But even him, I think he thought that I was gonna be somebody who was like silent. No, you get me fired up, I'm yelling back, I'm talking back, and I'm letting you know that what you're doing, I'm not cool with. Get me fired up, you won't hear the last of me. You ain't shutting me up, So I feel like there's something there with this dream that I had back then, a few years ago, where it's like he's yelling in my face, shut up, which lets me know, don't shut up, Antoinette. When something is not good, is bothering you, speak up. It's the opposite, right? Do the opposite. So, now, so, now going back to, the scripture and Beyonce with information, get information. So this thing of information being shared requires voice, requires like channeling, like requires somebody to speak. So boom, say I'm a channel now. I'm a channel. So just like what I'm doing here, I'm sharing that information. By how? By vocalizing. By vocalizing it. I'm speaking on it. I'm talking about it. But I had to also get the information. I had to align with source, with spirit, to actually channel that information and then share it. So, of course, somebody like Diddy and any man from that sphere of the secret society of, patriarchy, whatever, of course they would want somebody like me to shut up. Me, other women like me, of course they would want somebody like me to shut up because I'm channeling from source spirit. I'm channeling ultimate truth. This ain't theories and philosophies. I'm channeling ultimate truth. So with Beyonce being a spiritual lady, a spiritual woman, of course she's a channel, you know? And so for her to tell other women, she's not talking to humanity, she's talking to women. Get information. Ladies, get information. Because then why? First of all, you're going to be informed. You're going to have the knowledge. And also, you're going to be then able to share that knowledge. You're going to be able to speak on that knowledge. Right? After that, if you get the information, get a microphone. Share it. Get a book. Shit. I don't care. If you can't talk about it, write about it. Sing about it. You know, convey that information outwardly. That's what's going to happen. Because women are vessels of expression anyway. You know, so it's actually very crazy that the rhetoric of shutting up women is so big in across the secret society of the psyche of men, you know, which is even reflected in the Bible. You know, women are not worthy of the life. Even in the canonical Bible, not even considering the Gnostic scriptures, in the canonical Bible, all throughout, it's about women shutting up, being quiet. That's the opposite of our nature, because we're meant to express. So what do you mean? You know, that's the last thing a woman should do is shut up. Actually, that's the last thing she should do. Is not express herself. Is not express the information that she holds within. Why? Because I do think, now this is a new awareness for me. It's like a new door opening up. The kingdom of, what did he said in that scripture? He said, the kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, and men do not see it. Men do not see it. When you don't see something, it's because you're not looking. You're not looking. If you're not looking at something that is visible, by the way, it's there, but you don't see it. Why? Because you're ignorant. You're choosing not to see it. You're being stubborn. It's like the annoying little brother, la 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 la, I can't hear you, I'm not listening. That kind of shit. Which typically I do see with little boys versus little girls, right? It's there, but you don't see it. It's right in your fucking face, but you don't see it. Why? Because you got these rules and stipulations or whatever that tell you, I'm not looking to a woman for that information. I'm not looking to a woman for that promise. I'm not looking to a woman for that truth, for the way, the truth, and the life. I'm not looking to a woman. And Jesus told your stupid ass, it's right there in your face, but you don't see it. It's all over the place, but you don't see it. Men, I don't care. I'm going away from the humanity interpretation for men. No, he was talking to y'all men. He said men don't see it. So now I'm wondering, right? Because another thing that is okay, information. The number and code for information is 411. 411. That's what they say, right? And actually, that scripture it's one. Well, the last one is 114. 114. Okay. That's not working out. Okay, no. Okay, let's just go. Information 411. Right? You want to get what is it, like the line, the number for it, calling to get information is 411. It's funny because my timer says 1 hour and 14 minutes. Okay, 411. Okay, so something was telling me earlier that to think about the concept of information 411. Oh, frequency. Something was telling me think of frequency, right? Because, there's the other thing where they say, the 144,000. So actually, I was mixing up 144 and 411. I was mixing that up, but maybe there's something to learn here. Usually that's how this goes. So I'm going to look up frequency 411. Let's see. 411 often refers to soundscapes or music tracks, such as Archangel Uriel 411 Hertz, Peace and Kindness by Emiliano. This specific lower frequency is sometimes used in meditative or spiritual music intended for emotional balancing, often blended with binaural beats for relaxation. It differs from the more common 417 Hz solfeggio frequency used for clearing negative energy, spiritual connection, and peace. It appears within sound healing, meditation, and angelic frequency playlists similar to other specific hertz, such as 528 Hz for relaxation or 963 Hz for God frequency. So, it says soundscapes are music tracks. Peace and kindness. Heat. Feminine frequency. Well, I'm not really. Oh, wait. Let me see. What is this? She's talking. I need to hear what she's saying. Damn it. There's a lady speaking on. It says, energetic 411 is your daily connection to universal vibrational energy and the physical frequency themes moving through the body. This isn't about prediction, it's about understanding. When you understand the energetic weather of the day, you stop questioning yourself, start working with the natural rhythms. Work with the energetic 411. Oh, okay, she's just energetic. Okay, 411. Okay, I'm not getting it for frequency. I'm just like getting the code. It's the code for information, right? Information. Like, I'm not getting it as meaning anything in relation to information. Like how we have it as the code for information. Like calling 411 to get information. So I'm not getting that, but okay. Well, if we add it up, 4 plus 1 plus 1 equals 6. And 6 is, there's the 6th chakra, which is the eye, the third eye. So then there you're looking at the number 3 and you're looking at the number 6, 3, 6, 9 type shit. And you're getting as well, you're getting sight. So the 6th chakra is about spiritual sight, right? Like seeing things, it's clairvoyance, right? Which is interesting because in that scripture that I was reading about Jesus saying the kingdom of heaven is all around, but men don't see it. Like their 6th chakra is not open to that, or open, period. And if you think about it, earth is a feminine element. He says the kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, and men do not see it. So that's very interesting to me, because he says Father, which is a masculine term, and earth is a feminine element. And when I think of when he says every woman who will make herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven, which is spread out upon the earth. So it's like you align yourself with the frequency and energy of the kingdom, which is already here. But when you say kingdom of the Father, so you think of it as a masculine thing. It's a masculine thing, but it exists throughout a feminine location, environment, right? So that kind of tells me that it's like nurtured by femininity, which makes sense because femininity nurtures. It's like when I think of like masculinity in nature, I think of the sun, right? I think of the sun. I think of heat, right? So the feminine counterpart to the sun is the moon, right? So let's say female human beings are human representations of the moon, feminine form, reflecting the sun, the masculine form in the sky, right? So men are like the sun, but problem is, or not even problem, but I feel like the goal really is when he says every woman who will make herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven. I honestly feel like it's almost saying like for women who become the sun, right? So basically getting to a point, because what's the relationship between the sun and the moon? The moon is reflecting the light of the sun. But then what if the moon becomes the sun? And not necessarily that means men become the moon, but maybe so. But I think of it more as the moon becoming the sun too. You know? Like the energy of the moon growing so vast and great that it then encompasses the sun. So that basically the sun becomes under the dominance of the moon. But it's a good thing, because the moon, aka Mother Energy, is of nurturance. So it's almost like patriarchy turning over to matriarchy. A patriarchy becoming a matriarchy. No longer are men heads of houses, women are. Right? Female dominated leadership type. You know what I mean? So it's no longer the women having to reflect the energy of the sun. They actually provide it as well. Right? They provide it as well. And maybe then it becomes a situation of, there's a woman giving off her sun energy, so she's the energy of the sun, she's the leader, she's the dominant, she's the ruler, she's the king, yada yada yada. And there may be another woman or other women who are the moon still, right? And where are men in this equation? Shit, I don't know. Maybe they slaves and servants or some shit. I don't know. They somewhere being quiet, somewhere shutting up, somewhere not speaking, not participating even. Right? So I feel like, okay, with again Beyonce's song Get Information, (411) So you get information through your crown chakra, is what I had gathered before, is that your crown chakra is where you get the information. And then you express it. But even with your eye chakra for 1-1, well, you get it that way too, because you see things. You see things that maybe everybody can't see, so you get information that way as well. So you learn. And that always takes me to where Jesus said, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And that scripture takes me right back around to Beyonce being a woman who, first of all, her last name is Knowles, which knows, knowledge, like almost the same word. And she sang a song about information, even though you can say get information, but again, I take it as information, having information. And she being someone who, gets information, and then shares it. So, I feel like I was all over the place with this, but I just feel like there is a, because now I have to think of the why, right, with this message coming through. I think of it being a time. There's a time right now occurring. Oh, okay. So for myself, I'm going to wrap this around to something I haven't mentioned yet, but I haven't really mentioned it yet, but the concept of celibacy. So, because right now I'm committing myself to celibacy, and it's really like a commitment that you have to recommit and like, because I've done this before where I've been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be celibate, I'm gonna be abstinent, I'm not having sex, da 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 da. And then I turn back around. I go back on that commitment. I fall back, I change my mind because somebody come around me, maybe who I already been missing. Usually it's that. It's somebody I already been missing. And then we get together and then, yeah, it is what it is. But what's different now is I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking alcohol anymore. And so I've realized that I have a strength back inside of me that I had lost for a while, for a long time actually. I even remember singing about it, or like writing a song about it, where I had an ex who, during my time of dealing with him, for 13 years on and off, I drank. Like that was me growing up and, coming into my adulthood. I started drinking as soon as, I became legally, even a little bit before legally, allowed to do so. I went to college. And I remember writing a song about that guy who would always make me weak in the knees. That's why it was an on and off situation for 13 years. He'd always easily make me weak in the knees. He'd always make me melt for him. He'd always, despite how much he used to get on my last nerves with his BS as a bona fide narcissist. Bona fide narcissistic man. He would weaken me. He would, I'd always fall for him, anytime he didn't seduce me, first of all, it was very rare. If he ever came around me, it was very rare that he would not, lead me into that direction successfully. One time, he didn't, but it was so freaking hard for me. But I was so mad about something that I was just like, no, and I left, and he was crying about it, like literally, you have sex with me, like he was literally crying about it. So, but I think of him. I remember writing a song about him, and I remember in my song, my lyrics said, before him, something like this, like before him, I could resist any man. I could resist any man, and that was true before him, but also before I started drinking, before I started weakening my own strength by my own doing, drinking alcohol, because I do link the two completely together now. My inability to restrain myself from lustful temptations, while being delusional, thinking that it's a love situation. It's linked up to me drinking alcohol. And I was on my way to becoming a high functioning alcoholic. So it was very hard for me to see that there was a problem with it because I was high functioning. It wasn't messing up my life, but it was messing up my life, And I remember writing the song, I could resist any man. And then I said something about him. It's something about my resolve. I was losing my resolve, and I had such strength and resolve before I started drinking, before I met him, before I started growing up. I had such resolve and strength, physically, emotionally, sexually. And so the thing is, I've just surpassed a year of being completely sober, no more alcohol. And now that I realize the way I feel with no more alcohol, I'm sticking to that. No more alcohol. No. Because I'm feeling like my old self again. I remember when I was 17, I was running almost every day for the year of 2007 when I was 17, exercising just for my own benefit. I think I was also playing basketball or something like that, or dancing or something, and so I would be conditioning myself so I could do better in my sport. So I remember I also was a dancer at some point, but I also did basketball in school. So I would run in the mornings, and I was really good at it in terms of endurance running. I would endurance run. So it wasn't really for me about speed, it was about endurance and not stopping and running the whole time. And so I feel like I'm getting myself back up to that kind of conditioning, even though I'm not running, but I'm doing the Stairmaster. So I'm using the Stairmaster instead of running. So, but yeah, so I've set aside alcohol, and now I realize wow, that was really taking my strength from me. I'm clear. I'm so much more clear now, and so celibacy. So going back to the idea of maybe, perhaps, Jesus meaning that the kingdom of the Father is spread across the earth. When I think of earth, I also do think of the womb in a woman. The fact that men can't see it, right? They don't want to appreciate the value of a woman. Obviously, Simon Peter talking about women are not worthy of the life. Bitch, women carry life. Women carry the source of life. What are you talking about? Right? And so I do feel like when men would oppose that type of statement, I think it's because they're considering the women who have been destroyed, or corrupted by things like alcohol. And obviously, if alcohol is destroying that and wasn't destroying that inside of me, just think of people who also do drugs, who also smoke. I was smoking for a while too. And that's when I was headed towards mental illness, when I was dealing with the guy that looked like Diddy. I was drinking and smoking. And my life reflected what was going on inside of me. It did. And I didn't know it. It took me some time. It was crazy, y'all. So, but now think of going back to medication, right? So think of people on medication, and they're drinking, and they're smoking, and they're, you know what I mean? And not people, women. So I think of now celibacy and how I'm I'm on a goal of consistency with celibacy, right? I want to see what this does for me, because the last time I was celibate for a whole year at minimum, I was in college. I went 3 years. 3 years without sex. Which is funny because I was in college. So you would think that would be the time, but no. Mm-mm. I was in college because I was dating and I broke up with my ex because he was cheating on me, or made it seem like it looked like he was, so I couldn't trust him. I lost all trust, so I broke up with him. And I was in college, and honestly, it wasn't a lot of guys that I was really attracted to like that. And I didn't really get to know many like that on that level. There was one that I did, and we were close. That boy got kicked out. Got kicked out of the school. I just love the bad boys, you know. But so that was like 3 years. I was I was celibate. And I was in church, so that was a part of it. I think that was a part of it. So, but ever since then, it yeah, I haven't gone a whole year without sex since college. So it's been, what's that? I'm 36. 26 is 10 years. So 10, I say 13, 14 years. 13, 14 years, something like that. So maybe 15, you know. So, and also, I mean, all that time before last year, I was drinking as well. And it's not like I would be drinking like galore, but I was drinking socially, personally, individually, you know, I was drinking. So, with the whole year going by now of me not drinking and seeing what that did for me, I want to go a whole year without having sex and see what that does for me. And it's already making a difference because it's already been like, when was the last time? Last time for me was in September. I think it was September. So I went like all of October, November, December, January, February. That's 5 months. But see, I'm not going to count from that last time. I'm counting from January. I'm just going to, because that means once I reach January next year, it's going to be over a year. But I know for sure it's going to be at least a year. Because, yeah, the last time, it had to be September. Yeah, I think it was September. If not August. Yeah. So, but I would count from January onward. Yeah, just for myself. I would count from January onward. And so, here's the thing now. And it was funny because I came across a post earlier on my phone that said celibacy it's something about discernment. Like, celibacy, the longer you are celibate, the more discernment you have, something like that. And I think that's so true because when I decided to go sober and not drink no more, I wanted the goal really was so I could increase my intuition. I felt like I had a gift of intuition, but I was ruining it by drinking. And I just saw 396 on my phone when I said that. It wasn't something that I was thinking a lot. Like, I would never think that before. I just didn't think that alcohol was that big of a problem for me, as I wasn't drinking all the time and that it wasn't ruining my life, right? I mean, when I say it wasn't ruining my life, like it wasn't keeping me from going to work. I wasn't spending all my money on alcohol. Like, I wouldn't keep bottles on bottles in my place. I'd buy a bottle at a time and I finish it, you know. that's when I was drinking wine. Usually I would drink wine. And that was another reason why I thought it was more okay than not, because it was wine. But then what happened is I started noticing like the effects on my mood and the way I would be feeling about people around me that like I'm hanging out with. And then I'm like, why is this person bothering me so easily? And I'm like, I drank a few days ago, but the effects are still, you know, they're lingering effects. 3 days, you know. So then, anyways, so then I don't know, something came to me like about intuition. And it came to me that like, you know, drinking lowers your inhibition, right? And it disrupts um your eyesight. It disrupts your spiritual sight. Like you can't see clearly. Intuition is you seeing clearly, right? Clairvoyance, that's seeing clearly. You're not seeing clearly. You're not knowing what it is you need to be knowing through your intuition because it's distorted due to the effects of alcohol, which it's like tearing away at your spirit, which through your spirit comes your intuition. And so I was like, okay, I want to increase my intuition because people always lying out here. And I think that was something else that was getting to me. Like I just kept meeting people and getting close to people who were bad for me. But I'm befriending these people. I'm having sex with these people. I'm having relationships and trusting these people and caring about these people. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with my discernment? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? Like, this can't keep on happening. Like, so then I'm like, my intuition. I need better intuition. I need better intuition. And something said, well, you're going to have to stop drinking. You want better intuition? Try stop drinking and see what it does. So that's what I did. And it worked. It works. Like, I always knew I was gifted in the area of intuition, but it would often be so weak because I didn't know why. And now I know why. So now I'm going for celibacy. And I feel like celibacy, when I think of celibacy, I'm thinking of my womb area. I'm thinking of my sacral chakra. Even when I was thinking of alcohol, drinking alcohol, I think of my sacral chakra because that is the area of your stomach. That's where you're consuming, you know, what you consume, that's where it goes. And then it messes up that area. It tastes good on your tongue, but then in your stomach or in your sacral chakra, it's fucking it up. You know, there's something in the Bible that was similar to that about eating a book, and at first it's gonna be sweet, and then it's gonna be sour or bitter or something like that. Anyways, um, and so yeah, I feel like when now not drinking, that's helping me have resolve and not, be lusting and wanting sex, you know, as often as I did before, or having it be hard for me, to resist temptation from somebody that I'm attracted to and turned on by, you know. So I'm single and doing celibacy. So here's a celibacy thing. I think of the womb. I think of sacral chakra, you know. So when it goes back to the kingdom being, um, the kingdom being, you know, well, first of all, it being within, spread across the earth. What was that? I just saw. Interesting. Spread across the earth. You know, I think there's something, a connection to the womb and the sacral chakra energy center of the bodies of women. Yes. And I wonder if hmm, I wonder if oh gosh, wow, that's crazy. So like the scriptures, it says Guard your heart above all thing else. Above all of the things, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. That's in the canonical Bible. The heart chakra being the wellspring of life. So if it's the wellspring of life, right? Say the water within the well represents life. The heart is that entrance to that well of water that represents life. So under the heart chakra, you have the solar plexus chakra. Under the solar plexus chakra, you have the sacral chakra. And then you got the root chakra, right? So I wonder if that, when he says the wellspring of life, because first of all, we know where life comes from. It comes from the womb of a woman when it comes to giving birth. And that's just one symbol of and one illustration and representation of life being given and life being formed, you know. So it comes from the sacral chakra area, the womb of a woman. So that's where the waters of life reside. And so I'm getting the image of a straw in a cup, and that cup representing like the well. So being like the top is the opening, heart chakra, solar plexus. I'm not sure yet where that fits, but you know, it goes deep. So, and then the womb and sacral chakra at the bottom of that cup, right? Or where the waters are being contained. Life. Wellspring of life, right? I feel like I can. I feel like I've just been like kind of channeling, and so I feel like in terms of celibacy, it's like purifying that area, you know, purifying that well, purifying those waters, the waters representing life. The waters. Yeah. Yeah. The waters representing life. Solar plexus. Solar is sun. Sun is masculine. Moon and womb. I wonder if when Jesus said, women will become, I will make her like male or whatever, I wonder if it's like, basically like, oh, yes. Yes. Solar plexus is about expression, right? It's like, solar plexus is like where your sun energy is. But the thing about the sun is the rays of light. The rays of light, of heat, you know, of light. The light of day. And the thing is, they tell women, right, to shut up. So like that dream, it's all coming together. So I'm about to wrap this up. That dream that I had where Diddy telling me to shut up, what is that? That's like basically telling me to close off my solar plexus chakra, which is between the heart chakra and the sacral chakra. It's saying to close off. He's saying close off your solar plexus. You know, don't shine your light. Right? This little light of mine. First of all, it ain't little. It's big. The sun is big. What you mean, right? But the light, the light that you're supposed to shine, right? And this patriarchal system wants women to shut that part of them off. Don't express yourself. Don't shine that. Even women who are mute, whatever. They don't want you to express that. They don't want you to shine your light. And I just got the image of Beyonce with the sun. That sun thing she had on her head. Because, I don't know, I just don't be thinking the worst of Beyonce no more, not really. So, but I think that that's something like, where it's like, no, I'm going to be the sun. I'm going to shine my light. I'm going to have a healthy solar plexus chakra. And I'm not going to be ashamed of that or not do that just because you as a man told me not to. Just because you as a secret society of the, these toxic men and patriarchy, just because y'all told me not to. I'm not going to do that. My solar plexus is going to shine. I'm going to be creative. I'm going to create, right? So I feel like, so when he says the kingdom of the Father is a spread across the earth in the wombs of women, but men cannot see it. Because why? Because men don't have. So when you see something, you know something, right? You're aware of it. Men can't be aware of that without really understanding what makes a woman and really appreciating and valuing that. They can't because they don't have a womb. How about they don't have the kingdom within them? How about it? Why not? Why can that not be an interpretation? They don't have it. Do they have a sacral chakra? Yeah, that makes me wonder, actually. That makes me wonder. Do they? Now I'm wondering. Or is 7 chakras the number of completion? As Jesus said, right? Or as Jesus illustrated, I think 7 churches, 7 stars. How about the fact that in the word 7, and I've thought of this many times, in the word 7 you have the number Eve. You got the word Eve. Eve, right? Seven. Take off the S, take off the N. You got Eve. Yeah. So Eve being the mother of life, the mother of all things living, right? The woman who gave birth to life, the women who give birth. Now think of the number 6. Oh, I'm getting somewhere, bro. I am getting somewhere with this. Think of the number 6, because I've often been like, number 6, the number 6, I don't know about that. The number 6 is, okay, and so I was just talking about this on my last video too, actually, like, the number 666. People's like, the devil, da 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 da. First of all, in tarot, the number 6 is the simplification of the number 15, and 15 is devil. 15 is the devil in tarot. Oh my god. Okay, but in the Bible, the thing about the number 6, well, at least the number 666, which is nothing but the triple effect of the single number 6, is that it is the number of a man. That's what they said in Revelation. 66 is the number of a man. Man. Again, if we go away from assuming and going off of what we've been taught, that man is humanity. Nah, nigga, they talking about your ass, male humans. 6. And so think about it, the triple way. I think of, it could be physical, spiritual for sure, and then it's another version of that number 6. Think of 6 chakras. 6 chakras minus 1, because our bodies are made up of the 7 chakras. There's more, but they're like beyond us, right? And like our auric field and stuff like that. I heard of the solar or the earth stars, something like that, but I'm going with 7. Okay, but think of minus 1. What do you get? You get 6. I wonder, and then 666 being the number of man, I think that's to say, hey, we ain't just talking physical 6 in the 1 dimension way. We're talking it in a 3-dimensional way. Emotional. I think it would be physical. It would be spiritual. And there's one more. Physical, spiritual, and another way. I think that's literally talking about the lack of the sacral chakra in men. Men don't got no sacral chakra. Oh, how about it? Men can't see it. Baby. I just heard baby girl in my head. The kingdom of the Father is the womb. It is the sacral chakra. And why not? Sacral, sacred space. It's where babies are born. It's where life is formed. Of course it's a fucking kingdom. Of course it is. In itself. He said, kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, a feminine element, and men do not see it. To then go from there to straight into, let Mary leave us, for women are not worthy of life. And he says, I myself shall lead her in order to make her male, so that she too may become a living spirit, resembling you males. For every woman who will make herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven. Oh, the mysteries. But this is something that I'm now thinking about. What if the womb, the sacral chakra, all of that is a part of that part of a woman's body, what if that is the kingdom? And all this time, it's been all around, and men haven't been able to see it. Because for one, they want to act like a woman came out of a man, like Eve came out of Adam. But no, because 7 is greater than 6. And 666 is the number of man. Not humanity. Man. But 7 with an ooh. And what? 666 is 18. It's 9 total. 777 is 21. It's 3. 3 and 9. 3 is creation. I will make her, she will resemble man. I think of 3, I think of Beyonce. Let me tell you why. Her life path number in sacred numerology is 3. And guess who else is the same? It's Jay-Z. So she became like man. Right? Her and Jay-Z next to each other. And both of their non-sacred numerology numbers are both 5. Ain't that something? Yeah, that's why I'm like, they're literally twin flames. But who's the only one of them that can give life, bro? Who's the one of them that have given birth to their 3 children? Beyonce, the woman. Come on. So basically, it's like, because then what happened? She became the sun. In that connection, but not only the sun and the moon, because her womb. But she became the sun. In that connection. Okay, so now I wonder if when Jesus said, I will make her like male, and any woman that becomes male, makes herself male, will enter the kingdom of heaven. I wonder if that's the whole purpose of union. When it comes to salvation, when it comes to enlightenment, sun energy also, it is for the woman to take the lead, especially in a spiritual manner. Which spirit first, spirit above all, spirit before everything. It is for her to become the sun energy. Look at JC, he always in black. Black is darkness. Not darkness and saying bad, but dark like night, moon. He became the moon in energy, in a way, even though really it's still her because she the one that gave birth to those kids. But think about it. Now, beyond the physical part, she out there doing shows. She out there is like shining, literally. Where's Jay-Z is he be the one with them kids. Go on and on and on. Bro, but I think through this information, right? I feel like there's something to the now concept of, which I was not thinking of this before, but again, I've been celibate for at least 4-5 months. I think I'm on to something, okay? I think there's something to the thing of the womb, the sacral chakra, and the kingdom of heaven. There's a connection, as well as the numbers. Oh my God, are you serious right now? So think about the fact that, what's this whole thing? 6 or 7, 6 or 7. I don't even know what the kids be doing or whatever, but 6 or 7. 6. I've like heard about it or whatever. But now we're looking at these numbers, 6 and the number 7. Come on, bro. The number 6 and the number 7. And I was just talking about 7 is 6 in terms of the chakras. 7 chakras versus 6 chakras. And we already know, in physical form, if you look at biology, take any biology class, science class that talks about anatomy, they will tell you a man's body and anatomy is an incomplete woman's anatomy and body. I remember learning that, and I will never forget it. Because if you look at the testes and the fallopian tubes and the breast even, why do men have nipples? They're not giving no milk. Nipples are for breasts. A man's body does not naturally develop breasts. They don't develop milk to feed, to nurture a baby, yet they have nipples? Maybe it's because the woman's body was created first and then the man came from the woman. Why would it's something about like the testes, the two testicles, but then inside of the woman it's it's like the testes are the woman's, and the woman, is it the fallopian tubes, the ovaries, and it's something like within the man it's like falling outward. That's why he has his ball sack, whereas in the woman it's within her, and that's where the eggs or something like that. I just remember like learning like the man's body is like a woman's body incomplete though. So it's like, say if a baby, I think you first become your first male, but if you keep on developing, you become female. Boom. Oh, and even the chromosomes. A woman's chromosomes, it's just 2 X's. 2 X chromosomes, whereas the man's chromosome is an X and a Y. It's one leg missing off of one of the X's, bro. Come on. And what is an X anyway? X is 25. Oh, 5, 6, 7. Right? Is it? No, it's 24. X is 24. 4, 5, 6. 2 6s. But 2 6s equals 3, right? 6 plus 6 equals 12 equals 3. Just like 3 7s equal 21 and 3. I just thought of this right now. So XY is, the numbers I'm getting from the alphabet. XY is 6 and 7, which is interesting because the Y is missing a leg. It's like it was an X, but now it's a Y. But 6 and 7, so that's I think that would then be 13 and then 4. Which is interesting because 3 is Empress in the tarot deck and 4 is the Emperor in the tarot deck. So maybe that's the alignment there, because Emperor is like masculine energy, but it's just ironic and interesting because it's like, oh, but it's basically like 2 X's with 1 missing leg. Because 2 X's would give you 4 legs, but an X and Y chromosome only give you 3. Which one is missing? Anyways, I gotta stop this before I'm not able to upload it. Can you tell I'm on vacation? Because I ain't gotta go to work. It's deep, bro. I do believe, though, that there's a connection between the kingdom of heaven, quote unquote, the sacral chakra, and the womb, and the numbers 7 and 6, man and woman, or 7 being woman, 6 being man. 666 being the number of a man is what Revelation said, if it's not just the number of man, right? 7 chakras minus 1. Which one? With that, I'm gonna drop my mic. Ooh, that was long. Told you I can yap. But anyways, I don't even know what the title of this gonna be. Probably just 411, because this was all about information. And I think me starting my chat, this talk with talking about Beyonce and the need for ladies to get information, it's like, get this knowledge, bro. Sis, get this knowledge. We got to get this knowledge. We are channels of information. We need to be able to tap in and know who we are. Jesus said, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. I think that needs to be modified a little bit, or I just say updated, because Jesus was an advocate for women, just in a very subtle way. He was an advocate for life and understood, how that happens. Meaning, you can't have men out here being like, oh, women ain't worthy of life. You're going to perish because you're ignorant and idiot, But I think it needs to be updated too, to my women perish for a lack of knowledge. Right? Know thyself. Get knowledge. Get information. And glow. Protect yourself. Glow. Purify thyself. You know what I mean? And know that your body is the temple for the kingdom of heaven, something like that. All right, I'm done. I gotta use the bathroom. All right, thank you for listening. Till next time. Bye.